Welcome everybody to Coffee with Paul and Joe. It is a beautiful morning. I don't know if you got dumped with snow up there in New Jersey, man, but we did
Not
down
that
in
much.
DC. It's gorgeous. I got a different angle. I'm looking outside. It's a great morning for coffee and a beautiful conversation. What we're doing here is we're two guys who are, as I love how Paul, you put it, change agents, right? Change agents, force multipliers, human beings that like to help others grow in this world, organizations grow. I do personal and professional growth coaching work with people. And Paul does some amazing work all over the board. And we're here to just hit on some topics on a regular basis. And these are unscripted. I just learned about the topic from Paul about 2 minutes ago. We're just going to go and see what great gold we can offer. And we also want to see what we can learn and what we can take for our own lives, our own businesses, our own practices, our own relationships, and move on. So listen to this one if you or anyone you know around you, or even if you're just passionate about language and our choice of language and how it impacts our world, because that's, I believe, what we're talking about today, right, Paul?
This is correct. This is correct.
Cool, man. You want to roll this out a little bit and why we're talking about it and why you chose it and why it's impacting you, et cetera?
Yes, so just to give context, I was telling Joe that over the past several days, I've been noticing more of language. It first started off, Joe, as I was being aware of my self-language, like when I was due something or when I didn't accomplish something for the week, like what was I saying to myself? And then what kind of impact was that having? So I found I was like beating myself up. I was saying like, oh, this was dumb, this was stupid. And I had to look at and be aware of like, whoa, is it really dumb or stupid? Or did I just figure out a space where I can nurture, I can create?
Yep.
And I felt myself shift. So when, after that happened, I think that was like last Wednesday or Thursday. After that happened, as I was working with others, whether it was, in private yoga sessions or just in business meetings, I found that just by shifting the language, for example, instead of let's manage this, let's regulate this. Instead of let's manage emotions, let's regulate our emotions, our sensations, our thoughts. And then even from when I was, I do anatomy and physiology for yoga teacher training. So when I was working with some of the future yoga teachers, I noticed that some of them were like, well, oh, this side is bad, or like when we're focusing on asymmetries. And I said, instead of the side is bad, the side is different.
Right.
And I noticed that language, since our body's composed mostly of water, if you drop something in water, it creates a ripple. So just say the same with language. Language is like the words we say are like spells, they're like intentions. So if we're aware of what we're saying, both to ourselves and others, how does that shift the environment?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And what really highlighted it, what really brought this out for me, I was watching one of Joe's videos about the difficult conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking of like, wow, isn't it interesting how even the language may not make a conversation difficult?
Right.
It may enrich the conversation because our language is intentional.
Right. Ooh, you want to hear a little example on that joint real quick?
Please,
okay,
yes.
Check this out. Difficult conversations. You know, so Paul, man, been wanting to talk to you about something that, it's been kind of bothering me a little bit. And I've been a little worried about bringing it up, but I'm honestly at the point where I can't ignore it anymore. Versus, hey, Paul, man, there's something I want to talk to you about. I'll be honest, I'm a little tense about bringing it up because, I care about our relationship, but I'm excited to bring it up because I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to connect more, for us to do better with our work, et cetera. It's like that, where are we at here on that? Which seeds are we planting for a more generative conversation with just the language? And of course, the tone raises, the facial expressions change because we have positive and negative associations deep within our wiring, deep in our psyche, connected to language too. So that's an example.
So Joe, I got something for you because when you were doing those two, and I love the energy piece.
Yeah.
Energy shift happens, man. Shift the energy. Your energy was different.
Yeah.
Your energy, because in the first you were like,
right.
Was the second you were like, even I just noticed my body position changed. I would like to hear your feedback on how important is the energy going into a difficult conversation, and what type of energy would you advise a person have
Right,
for
right.
that difficult conversation?
Well, the energy is more important than the words. The words can be a byproduct of the energy, but it's the chicken and egg situation, right?
Yeah,
Try and say, I really want to have this conversation because something's got to change versus I'm excited to have this conversation to see what changes. Like I can't say those without living into those energies. I could, but it's an act. One is fear, one is excitement, right? Like it's right in the language, and the language dictates my body and shifts my body and my mind. So that being said, I do think the energy is more important. More important. What we're emanating speaks more. And it's not, we're not talking just body language. Like you said, it's everything. It's like tone, and there's something deeper than that, and the intention behind it, right? And one, I'm stepping into something that I'm really afraid of creating a breach
Right.
in a relationship. The other, I'm stepping into something where I'm actually anticipating the growth in the relationship and the new connection. So energy is, I would say, at the end of the day, energy is everything. Words and body language, I tend to use as drivers of energy, Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah, because even the words you say, if you try to come with a different energy
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't in alignment with what was true for you, it's gonna be a fault. It's gonna be a mask.
Well, try and like be really downtrodden and low energy and say, I'm excited to work through this challenge. Try. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible.
I mean, I just I'm really excited to work about this challenge. I'm really excited.
It's like an effort, right? It's like harder.
No, it's not fun.
Right.
I like studying different energies, and especially when it comes to our interpersonal relations, how we get along with others. And we
Yeah.
talked last time about just the rootkit and like relationships.
Yep.
So I'm fascinated because with especially with words, and now as we bring in the energetic piece, that is like a relay, a message. Like almost, I feel like with the combination of the collection of the words, the energy, and even just the words and the energy, that is like it's like code. It's like it's gonna resonate with someone that has the same type of intention, or it's gonna make them receive or notice.
Yes.
So it's really fascinating, I guess, as this conversation is evolving, and also I think it's important in when the ones that are people that are watching this, like in your relations and just in every day, being aware of the talk, yes, being aware of it, and then what's the energy around it, like what's the feeling around it. And when we talk energy, sometimes I just kind of go off, but energy is basically like a feeling, a sensation. Like, I'm feeling kind of queasy in my belly. Talking about this makes my neck hurt. Like, I don't know.
Sure.
Like, thinking about it makes me think of a pepperoni pizza. I don't know. Like,
or it's just how does someone feel? We don't acknowledge it. We don't talk about it as much in our culture, but I am firmly aware of the fact that we spend time with people, and we even like give business to the people that feel right. And we know this, and most humans know this, I think, in certain contexts, but especially like any woman who's ever been in any way approached by a man, hit on by a man or whatever, or a woman, whatever, either way, they're going to know what's the difference between needy and creepy, or what's the difference between creepy and like, exciting. These are all like little subtle nuances. They're in the energy. It's not necessarily always just the language. Language counts too. So you're right there. Energy is something we feel from another person and in ourselves, Now, since the topic's language, like what's some language that you hear a lot in our world, in our culture, maybe with people you work with, or even in yourself, that you're like, okay, if we could change this, there'd be a shift. There'd be a shift. Anything you think of?
Yeah. What would they think?
When people say, what would they think?
Yeah. Like, for example, I'll give you context. Like there's people have a lot of creativity within them. I'm going to speak for myself. I have a lot of creativity in me. Yeah. And I noticed one of the thoughts that my awareness was, well, what would people think? And that can stifle a person. That can
Right.
That's going to have you covered. That's going to not have, you're not going to bring your full self when
Right.
that thought process is going on in your head. Is there something you can think of? An example?
Well, what would be the shift in that one? What would you want to be saying instead? Because I think we're talking here, that one could be a pretty deep mindset at a core level, not just the language, but like what would be the language you would change it to that might shift the mindset?
So it doesn't matter if people like this. Doesn't matter if people like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or be even better yet, it's okay people don't like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Right,
I even like that energy better. It's okay people don't like it.
Yeah. You know what? It just occurred to me. This might even piss some people off. And I'm looking forward to see who those people are because they're not my customer, you know? They're not my friends, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's cool to be polarizing, actually. I think we need to be a little bit in this life.
Yes. Yeah. Because, well, you have to be discerning about where you spend your time and energy in the environment.
Sure.
That's very important. Yes.
So one that I want to bring up literally, I think this happens not just in our language, but also in our mindset a lot. And I'm looking at my notebook because I got a client right after this, and his homework was going to be to make a list of all the different times and ways that he says, I got to be or I have to be, or when he says need to do, right? So I got to, I have to, I need to. Whenever you're hearing that, we're coming from a perspective where we do not have agency. We've no longer given ourselves the choice, or we've created a delusion or illusion of having no choice. And we're no longer living in a place of ownership over our life. And the language can be the master. The language can be the trainer that tells us what's true and what's not. That is pervasive in our world. I have to, I need to, I got to, I must do. These are all things that indicate that we are being dominated by external forces. And I could go off on this for like 20 minutes. I'll stop.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
That's like a conditioning piece. You're right. That's a mindset.
And the deconditioning can start in the language. Train your language, and it trains your mindset. Vice versa, too, of course.
What would be some examples? Some quick examples.
How you can train it?
Yeah.
Oh, I get to, I choose to, I want to, I'm going to.
I will.
Like, yeah, I will. I have the choice to, right? Like, anytime. I even get like a little, what's the right word for this? I can get a little intense about this. People will say, well, Joe, you know, I know you can't X or Y because they're indicating some lifestyle choice I made. Like when I didn't eat, you know, when I used to eat vegan, people would tell, oh, Joe, I know you can't eat this or that. And I would always just push back. I can eat whatever the hell I want. I make choices day to day about how I want to live as in regards to my health and my inputs. You know, it's like I can go overboard a little bit around this type of stuff, but it helps me be the man I want and live the life I want, right? So those are examples. I choose to. Ultimately, it's about I have choice.
Always
I choose to, I get to, I want to. I have the opportunity to, right? I love that one. And even if it's something you're dreading or don't like, man, I have to go do this thing. You know what? I'm choosing to go do this thing. It's going to be a challenge. I might not like it.
Right.
I'm sure I'll grow.
Yeah.
You know, these mindset things, not just language too, you know?
So I got one that I hear a lot.
Yeah.
That people just unconsciously say.
Oh, I'm wondering if it's my next one. Go. Shit.
I'm sorry.
That was it. Yep.
I'm sorry. What are you sorry for?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Break it down, man.
Okay, so this is
break it down.
That got me, man. So check it. I was noticing when I forget where I was, but I was noticing someone bumped into someone else.
Right.
And the person that got bumped into said, or the person that did, like, and it was an unconscious bump, but the person that did the bump was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, what's she sorry for?
Did you say she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what's she sorry for? And it was wild because I saw myself, I can do that too. Like, oops, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, am I sorry for taking up space? Am I sorry for like just being here and you bump into me? I'm sorry. But like,
Right.
it's like, so the reframe there is, excuse me,
Right.
excuse me.
Yeah.
It's still a stand. I feel like a lot of, and this is where, and I don't know if I expressed this before, this is where language is important because we can tend to give away our power, our
Boom.
prana, our life force. But, and I hear all the time, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Someone does something to us. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for?
Yeah. Yeah. What's
I'm
what's the
confused.
deeper message there for you? Like when people are saying that all the time, why is that a problem? Let's
So,
open that up. Why is that a
so
problem?
it makes it a problem for me because it's like, okay, I'm not worthy to be in this space. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm subservient.
Yep.
Like I did wrong. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about? You were just standing there. Like it's a crowded place.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was like, don't be sorry. Like, oh, don't be sorry. Like you had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
when someone experiences a loss, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, thank you. Or is my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's almost like I remember when my mom passed, it was like, I'm sorry to hear that. Why, did you do something?
Yeah.
Like, did you do something to it? I would ask people that because I was just in a space of emotion. I was just like, did you have something to do with it? Well, no. Then you don't. Why are you sorry?
Yep.
Why are you sorry? And thank you because you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But piece of awareness, we give away
Yeah.
things, and it's like we don't. It's not. It's about coming to a place where we can settle into where we are and just really come from what is the emotion. What, hey, okay, or what's really the message I want to give myself right here, or give
Yeah.
another.
So you know an interesting just gonna say it, the mind fuck, the internal mind fuck of that phrase, how we use it in our language,
Yeah.
in our culture. I don't know,
Mhm.
I'm not that world, I've been all over the world, but in our culture, we use it like this. I'm sorry, right? Indicating that we have some lesser value or lesser right to be who we are, or lesser right to that space on the sidewalk, or lesser right to grab the last cookie, or whatever it is, lesser right to, get whatever it is, like whatever the heck. I'm getting excited. My
Preach
nervous
it,
system's
Joe
up.
B.
I'm forgetting examples, but so
You get the
here's the thing. Okay,
snaps.
now, you ready? You ready for the twist? I'm sorry,
Yes.
meaning I'm lesser. I'm less I'm less worthwhile. I'm less entitled to space, energy, time, language, money, whatever it is. And I'm sorry, as if we're so powerful that it's our responsibility what happens to other people and how they react and their experiences of life.
You flipped it. You flipped it. Thank you
We're
for that.
doing that to ourselves at the same time. We wonder why we have problems trusting self. in one statement, we're constantly, and it's all over our language, and I believe we're all trained to this, and I'm fired up because I believe women are trained to say this more and think this more and feel this more and do this more. I assume the same for people of color.
I would agree with you on
I'm
that.
less likely to take up space. I'm not allowed to. It's not as safe. So therefore, I better tread lightly, right? So this I'm sorry culture drives us into these states of confusion.
Mm.
I'm powerful enough to impact you in a deep way, but it's because I'm less worthy and I'm taking up space or energy or time or resource. It drives me crazy, right? So the other thing about the I'm sorry is people say it all the time unconsciously.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry your stomach's upset, Joe. I'm kind of we're too alike, man. I'll be like, oh, I don't think you did anything unless you poisoned me. I don't want you to be sorry.
Yeah. You had
So
nothing to do with it.
right,
And thank you.
but I'm with you, right? I'll say to people, I try not to say I'm sorry. I'll try and say to people, man, I'm sad hearing that. That's sad. That impacts me. How are you feeling? Can I support you? But yeah, I'm sorry someone passed away, or I'm sorry you lost your job. Like I had nothing to do with it,
Right.
but I am sad you experienced it. And I want you to know I'm here for you. And I want to see what I can do here. It's really like, if we're being honest, people would say, I feel awkward hearing that and I don't know what to say.
Exactly.
You know
Thank
what I
you. Thank
mean?
you.
So I got
Thank
one more
you.
slice on this. I got one more slice of cheese on this one, on this open
Scoop it
face,
up.
if you will.
Jeez. I love that.
People say it all the time when they're not sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't really feel bad about something. I think it's a throwaway. It's a get out of jail free card.
Yes.
We say it instead of taking ownership and responsibility over our actions and our impacts.
Right.
So people can be totally oblivious, unconscious to other people's needs and space and whatever. We say, I'm sorry. Sometimes the person bumping into you on the sidewalk, they need to have some awareness of it and acknowledgement of it, because they're totally unconscious of their space and they're in a very narcissistic mode in the moment, and they're not really aware of the impact on others. So they're, I'm sorry, just get away. Louis C.K. has a joke about that. Like kids are really afraid of getting in trouble, but adults aren't, because they'll just go, oh, I'm sorry, and they'll walk away.
Right.
You know, so that is another thing, is we don't own our impact. We don't take responsibility most of the time when we say that.
So interesting, because it's like, if someone were to say, if someone bumped into you and they were looking at the phone, they're like, oh, excuse me, I wasn't paying attention.
I love it.
Not paying attention. Like, oh, go ahead, man. That's taking responsibility. And what people don't understand, you made a great point about the saying things unconsciously, bringing it to language and words. Your words are like a bank, right? It's like the more you use it, or it's like your debit card, the more you use it, the less value it has.
Yeah.
So if you're unconsciously, I'm sorry, then when it comes time for you to really express it, are you really?
Right.
Like,
well, or does it have impact? Let's say you're always saying to your employees, oh, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry. When something that you did that really was unintentional but harmful, when it's time for you to own it, is it going to mean anything to them when you say you're sorry? Because people hear it all the time. Same in your intimate relationships. You know, you say you're sorry all the time for being silly, leaving the toilet seat up, being late to things, not returning phone calls, or whatever it is. When something matters and you've accidentally hurt the person you love, or they feel hurt in response to your behavior, to reframe that one with language.
Good catch.
Then it might not mean much. Then you don't have that powerful tool. Now I'm going to offer a little something here in this moment. We've offered a few already. Hey, you know what? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I didn't realize that. Hey, I'm sad to hear that you're experiencing this.
Right.
Hey, in this moment, I don't even know what to say, but I want to say something because I can tell you're hurting. Right? Whatever, right? But another one would be thank you. Let's say, I don't show up late to things typically, but sometimes. What if I do? I'd much rather hear someone say, hey, thank you for your patience. I really appreciate you waiting for me. It wasn't my intention to be late, rather than, oh, I'm sorry. Right. So like, how often can we say thank you and reframe it instead of I'm sorry, Yeah.
This is another blessing. The thing that came to me too, especially when you talk about relationships, and now I know we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Is in relationships, love, overusing the word love. Because then it's like, how much, I love, I love you. And so, like, you know what? I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, wow. Instead, like, what are the ways we can say something without saying it? Maybe that's the practice. What are the ways you can say something without, and another way of saying something without saying it?
Yeah.
So,
no, I don't want anyone in a relationship to say I love you less, right? And I think what I'm hearing, and maybe this is just my own interpretation, my own spin, is if you do, why not call out what matters? What do you love? Right? Why not use the language of appreciation, the language of gratitude? Why not speak to your experience? Oh, you know what? When you got home today, I relaxed and I got excited at the same time.
Right.
You know?
Yes, exactly. Because my thing is that, in our society, we're always in a phone. So it's like, I love you. I'm not looking at you. I'm not connecting with you. Like, I don't want people to say love less. I don't want them to say the word less either, but I want them to have weight behind the word.
Right. You know it.
Behind the word.
And even our actions. You talked about the phone. That's about attention, right?
Right.
So I don't want to hear someone say I love you and then not give me attention.
Right. You don't love me, you love that phone.
Yeah, I've mentioned in a couple of these, I've just started like dating again the last few weeks, right? And I would love a person, a partner, partners, whatever, who I don't always have to say a compliment. They feel just as impacted and appreciated by just like, oh, I'm going to slow down and put some real attention on you. I'm just going to look at you with that smirk and that twinkle in my eye. You're going to feel it. And that's enough. That's better than like, oh, I like your outfit today. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. I hope it works, right? Because that's what I want. Is I want
And
real
so it
connection.
is. And
Right?
so it is. Real connection, baby, for Joe. We got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Man, thank you everyone for tuning in, for watching this. And listen, and be aware of the language. We'll be back again next week. Thank you, Joe. And I'm
Thank you,
working
Paul.
on my intro.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. And I appreciate it. And absolutely. And if you are watching this and you have some language that you would love to see people reframe or you struggle with, post it below. And there'll be info to reach out to both of us because we both love our work and we want to do more of it. So hit us up if you want some support. You got a referral. We're here for you.
All right. See you next time, Joe.
All right.
Enjoy the day, man. Rock it,
Bye.
man.
Thank you.
Bye.